On the day of my wedding anniversary, I was cleaning my house when I found a picture album. As it turned out, my husband had been religiously taking pictures with the girl of his dreams every year on this precise date. He had been doing it since he was 40 years old and he was now 60 years old. His hair had progressed from a jet black to a faded white and yet, he kept up the tradition. There was a written message in his handwriting at the back of the picture that read, "Eternal love. Since he doesn't love me, I will no longer bother washing his clothes and cooking for him. I will no longer care for his children and grandchildren. I may have foolishly wasted half of my life, but it was not too late to make a change. Chapter 1. Today is my wedding anniversary with my husband Arthur Jones. For some reason, he would always be away during this exact date. We had been married for more than 40 years and yet, he refused to spend any romantic, special occasions with me. After finishing breakfast all alone, I went to mop the floor. I was just passing by the study when I caught the mess piled up at the bookshelf from the corner of my eye. With a dragged-out sigh, I set aside the mop and went inside to sort out the mess. When I got to the topmost row, a heavy book with a thick and intricate cover dropped and smacked against my head. The abrupt pain made me hiss. It took a while before I finally realized that what I was looking at was not any ordinary book. Instead, it was a wedding album. All of the pictures inside featured the same pair of couple. They were dressed in different sets of wedding gowns and suits in each picture. The only thing that was consistent was the bright, heartwarming smile they wore on their faces. The man inside the pictures was someone I was beyond familiar with. It was Arthur. However, the woman in the pictures was not me. I pressed a hand against the throbbing pain on my temple and could feel my head spinning. For a moment, I could not register if it was my head or my heart that ached more. The most recent picture in the album was taken precisely 1 year ago from the present date. Even though the couple's hair had turned white, they seemed as enamored with each other as young lovers were. There was also a handwritten message in Arthur's writing behind the picture. He had written it with meticulous penmanship. It was clear how much value he attributed to it. Eternal love. Upon closer inspection, each picture was labeled with a date. From 40 to 60 years old, their hair had faded gradually from black to white and yet, they have never missed a single year. As it turned out, this was the reason my husband had been inventing all sorts of excuses to skip celebrating our wedding anniversary every year. It was all so he could take an annual wedding picture with the love of his life. This was completely absurd. I shut the album with trembling hands while my thoughts traced back to Arthur's demeanor before he left home yesterday. He mentioned that our son was going on a business trip abroad and needed his help for translation because the usual translator could not make it. I did not think much of it at the time. It was especially convincing since he used to be a foreign language professor before he retired. I did suggest that we could go together so I could get the chance to explore another country. The sheer suggestion made his expression darken. Our son is there for official business. Why are you trying to meddle with his work? Besides, you don't